What I can see from the data is 80+% of people are date inside their group. Me personally, I've dated everything. I say make yourself the best version of yourself and pick from the best you have available. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, but most people want their group.
Right.
See, what I think the disconnect comes when you feel like you're having to pick from lesser options, but that's a function of you. Like you said, if you make yourself the top choice or become the best version of you, and you can say, and know not what you want, but know what you need, that's a difference. Know what you need and then pick for that and outcomes, not for short term. That's relationship. I mean, think about you and your best friend. Y'all want to kill each other sometimes.
Yeah, this guy want to kill each other all the time, yeah.
But let somebody fuck with him.
Oh, yeah.
You know I'm coming.
That's it.
Blame me.
Blame me back.
That's it. And that's the thing. We have that as men. Men want that with women too.
Thanks.
And women want that with men. And the thing is, that person may look different from a want standpoint versus a need. And I just actually speak to that. And if you look at what it did with the thing with Tommy Lee came on, where she said, you know, I really do want that. I'm like, I just want to trust. I'm like, I get it. I get it. And more women would be likely to get what they need if they are willing to be vulnerable and risk saying that. Because what they've been told is every man out here ain't shit. Ain't nothing going on but the rent, bills, such and so forth. And women today, in my opinion, don't truly know modern men. They know the caricature. They know the character of men. I'm like, well, I mean, the icon of men. Now, what you need to do is understand, if you actually understood that they're got wants, needs, and desires too, it will be a lot easier for you to let your guard down and let yourself risk being in a relationship, because it's always a risk.
I saw a video of you discussing this sort of Instagram live that Tommy Loren did. And for those who don't know, Tommy Loren, kind of conservative commentator and whatnot. And I had heard about the video because I was vaguely aware of it when it went viral. In the early days, basically a bunch of people dunking on her and try to act like what she was saying was crazy. I actually watched the video in the context of you sort of reviewing it. And I mean, what she was saying was unbelievably commonplace, obvious shit. She was basically saying, if you're a guy and you want to be with me, or any of my friends who apparently also have good things going on for them, who are accomplishing something, don't do this, this, and this, because these are things that are going to make me not take you seriously. And as a person who's now in a relationship, I listening to her talk, I'm like, of course, if I was a guy and I wanted to win over this girl, you're going to not want to do anything disrespectful to her. You're going to not make it obvious that you're just trying to hang out with her at 2 o'clock in the morning because you just got home from the bar, etc. And somehow, sorry, I thought you were going for that. Somehow this is considered controversial, and I'm watching you sort of like explaining that essentially this is pretty standard good advice if you want to be successful in your love life.
Yeah, and see, we have made this so damn complicated.
And somehow this is political as well.
It's complicated. I mean, we've overcomplicated it. And see, one of the beauties of my show is I acknowledge men are visual and women want. I'm all about hypergamy. Yes, you want the high value man. You want a man who can protect, provide, and whatever that comes in. But that's what you want. That's nature. I accept that. And men are visual. We have over freaking complicated. So I go back to something I said a little while ago by my Facebook group. You know what's unique about that? I just picked I just asked some basic questions. How old are you? Your marital status? Do you want to be married? Do you have any kids? And then I just went and verified, where you work. I don't care where you work, but that's it. And from the women, I pick women who are feminine, beautiful, and reasonable. That's it. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not a love demigod, but I truly believe in human nature, because image is human nature. I took men and women who were like-minded, and I did something novel. I put them in a room together.
Right.
And I said, here's what we're going to do. All the stuff that's outside, we're not going to bring any of the salacious, stuff that's just going to be openly controversial. We're not going to talk about that. This is a group for men. We get in here, network together, talk about business, and the women are our welcome guests. Guess what? Women get a chance to sit back and see me, you, and us to work together. talk, communicate. They come in and ask questions. I was like, you got to be able to be willing to answer questions because this is a different kind of woman. She's already admitted she's feminine, this, and she wants to be cooperative and work with a man. Guess what? Couples are getting together left and right in there. I'm like, you leave people alone and we will sort ourselves out. It's called assortative mating. Stop, just let people be. But we've tried to engineer relationships based upon these false standards or standards, I won't say, things that create a narrative that ultimately doesn't make either side very happy. And you leave people alone. What's really funny is when a woman says, you know what, I never would normally consider a guy like this, but he had already passed this basic litmus test. And I got a chance to see how he moved, and I like that.
It's the opposite of Tinder. Like when I was on Tinder back in the day, I remember really feeling like this doesn't make sense to me because I'm a guy who goes to the bar and tries to meet girls. I'm a guy who goes to the club and tries to meet girls. Somehow I'm sitting here looking at this app. It's got like potentially infinite women, and it makes me feel miserable swiping through, looking at them one by one because of the overt choice embedded in it. And what you're talking about is like, let's put a couple dozen people or whatever in this group and actually see what happens if they try to take each other seriously.
And you're picking on straight appearance. That's 7 seconds. That's a very small time frame. And I've actually helped guys write profiles. And honestly, I'm on these apps because I like to know what's going on. Tinder, which was one before Tinder?
Bumble. Bumble's a big one. Or it used to be.
But Bumble has changed. They've taken away the weight and thing. They want body positivity as this week.
Oh God.
But I said, okay, you want that, but are you going to take the height and income thing away from men? Of course, that didn't work. But I look, Match.com, Plenty of Fish, and I'm like, I've witnessed these things. I've dated on these things before, and it reduces people down to swipe left, swipe right. But then what's the success out of this? The success comes from just asking some baseline questions. You know what a Sadie Hawkins dance is?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's
when
what
the girls ask the guys.
We miss that these days. Yeah.
And basically, that's what I did with Match.com. That's what I did on Facebook. I said, these guys are provider males, and you are women who want men. Sadie Hawkins. And I look up, and somebody's like, oh, yeah, I inside the first week, I'm in Boston, she's Atlanta. I flew up there. I'm finding out they're in a relationship 30 days later. I'm finding out, I was going to go move out of here and I'm going to go to the DR. I joined your group just because I said I would. Now I found my wife, my fiance, who's now my wife. I'm like, well, and the thing is, how can a guy who's an image consultant, who's now become a relationship guru of sorts, how can I do that? And all you folks who are in this business, that's really where I'm at now. Where are you matchmakers on? Where are your results? Where are these people? Because as an image consultant, I want you to come in, I want to get you square, and not want you to go out and win. I don't want to keep you on the payroll for a lifetime. I'm a failure if I said, if you need me to dress you for every dadgum thing, different at a higher level. But you see what I'm saying? You're supposed to get people to where they can move on and do something else. But we have a relationship industrial complex, as it were, that keeps people single, miserable, taking Prozac, Zoloft, drinking wine, and watching Netflix and chill movies. That doesn't benefit the end user, does it?
And you mentioned Japan earlier, and I remember one thing that I saw when I went to Japan was the realization, the guy who's showing us around says, this is a building where you can go in and you can hire a woman to cuddle with you.
Yes.
It's not a prostitute.
Yes.
You don't have sex with her, but you lay there and you hold her and you stare into her eyes. So they've actually managed to, commercialize every part of the relationship so that if you're looking for an intimate connection, here's a $20 an hour. You get to stare into her eyes. Okay, guys, we want to thank you so much for getting us to 100,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. If you want to support, please click that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 200K. Thank you. Thank you so much.